Hi there, I'm Justin with Ocean Vayu Yoga. Thank you for joining us today. If you're new to our channel, welcome, and if you've been with us before, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a bit of a closer look at Surya Namaskara A, or Sun Salutation. And practicing Sun Salutations is a really good way to cultivate connecting breath and movement. And within the Sun Salutations, there are some foundational elements that come into play in a lot of other yoga practices or postures. And so taking a closer look at them can be beneficial. Before we get into moving through the Sun Salutations, I thought it would be a good idea to sort of talk about the different postures and show them so we know where we're going and how we're getting there and what we're doing once we're there. So the Sun Salutation we're going to be exploring today is coming from the Ashtanga Yoga practice, and part of the reason for using that as our model is that there's a definitive start and stop to each Sun Salutation. In some yoga practices, they become part of a larger flow and they just go from one to the next, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in terms of taking a closer look at them, it's nice to know where one starts and where one stops. So taking a look at the positions of the Sun Salutations, we'll be starting with the hands by the sides. And the first position would be raising the arms up and gazing upward. The second position would be folding forward. The third position is lengthening out the spine and gazing forward. Our fourth position is lowering the hands, stepping the feet back, and lowering into a push-up position. Our fifth position is an upward facing dog, which we should think of as a front opening posture. We don't really want to get compressive or crunchy in the low back. And then our sixth position is a downward facing dog. And here we're opening up the back of the body, the back of the legs. Our seventh position is actually the same as our third position, so we're coming forward into that elongated spine. Our eighth position is the same as our second position, which is that forward fold. And our ninth position is reaching the arms back up, which was the same as our first position. So we've got really 6 different postures within the Sun Salutation, but 9 different components that make it a complete unit. And a couple notes on going back as far as like taking the feet back from that lengthened out spine position to before we're going to lower down into our chaturanga. You can take as many steps back with the feet as you need or want to. You can take a lot of little steps. You could take one large step with each foot, then lower down. You could bend the knees and jump the feet back and lower down. You could work on lifting the feet and floating the feet back and lowering down. Coming forward, you've got similar options. You can take as many steps forward with the feet as you would like to get there before lengthening out. You could take one large step with each foot and lengthen. You can bend the knees and jump the feet forward. Or you could begin to hop the feet forward and try to land pretty softly before lengthening out the spine. And then as far as lowering down from that plank position down to our chaturanga, you've got some options there too. You could just bend at the elbows, lowering down. Try to keep the elbows in towards the ribs. If lowering down that way is a bit too taxing for you, then what you could do is drop your knees down and do the same with the arms, lower down with as much control as you can to about the same height as you would if your knees were not dropped down. And if stopping is also a limiting part of the practice for you, just drop your knees and lower all the way down to your mat before coming up into an upward facing dog. Just whatever amount of lowering you're doing, try to do it with as much control as you can. And just keep in mind that this is something that we build over time, so if any of this stuff is challenging for you, great. It just means you've got room to improve. So now that we know what we're doing, let's slide on into doing it. So just a quick note about the breath and how it's going to connect to our movements here in the Sun Salutations. When we're opening up the body and we're expanding, we're doing so on an inhale. And as we're closing the body down, we're doing that on an exhale. So when we're breathing in and raising our arms up, we're expanding the body. When we're exhaling and coming down for a fold, we're closing the body. So we just want to try to connect the breath to those types of movements here. So we're going to run through about 5 of these Sun Salutations. The first one, we're going to hold each of the positions for 5 breaths. not chaturanga, the push-up position. We're just going to do one breath in that today. At some point, if you decide you want to start holding that for longer, that's great. We don't need to do it today. You'll probably thank me later. The second round, we're going to hold each position for 3 breaths, except our down dog will still be 5, chaturanga will still be 1. And then the 3 that follow, each one's just going to be 1 breath per movement, so we get a little bit more of the connecting and flow of the sun salutation to the breath. And the down dog will still be 5 in those as well. And then we'll come down for a little brief cool down at the end, and maybe a little Savasana as well. So we're going to get started by coming to stand at the top of our mat. We'll try to have the weight even through our feet. Let the hands come gently by the sides, fingers connect to one another. Let the shoulders come up and then slide down the back just a little bit. A slight tilt back in the top of the pelvis, just a little drop in the chin here. We'll bring our awareness to our breath. Take one more inhale here. And exhale. And then we'll begin. With an inhale, we're going to reach the arms up and gaze up. We'll exhale, stay right here. Again, inhale, we're lengthening up through the fingers, grounding through the feet, exhaling. Again, inhale. And exhale for 3. Keep the lower abdomen drawing in. We're inhaling. Exhale, 4. And one more breath in. With the exhale, keep the length in the spine. We're going to hinge at the hips and fold forward. Folding this far forward is not an option for you. You just fold to here, or to here, or to here, wherever it is that you happen to get to. That's 2 breaths. 3 breaths. 4. And 5. We're going to inhale, lengthen out the spine. You can keep the palms down here if they were down. You can come to the fingertips. And if you weren't to the floor, you can hold your shins or your knees or even your thighs. So just gazing forward, engaging through our back. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. And then we're going to plant the hands, bending the knees if you need to. We're going to step the feet back, and we're going to lower through chaturanga, that push-up position, the one we're not going to hold. With our inhale, we're going to come through to our upward-facing dog, feeling that opening through the front side of the body. We really don't want to be compressing the back side here. That's 2. I feel that we're lengthening and running from the base of the spine up to the base of the skull. 3, making space. 4, and try not to over clench the glutes here if you can help it. And 5. Our exhale, we're pulling up and back through the hips to settle into our downward dog. If you need to make any adjustments to your hands or feet, feel free to do so. That's 1. We want the weight carried evenly through the hands here. 2. The heels are sinking towards the floor. They may be up here. That's okay. The knees might need to be bent a little bit. That's okay. 3. If you find yourself here, just know that over time, 4, as the shoulders strengthen and open, you'll be able to shift back a bit, bringing the chest through. And 5. With our inhale, we're coming back to familiar territory. Bringing the feet forward, lengthening out the spine. Again, we're holding here, just feeling that engagement through the back. It's 2. We have a slight lift in the lower abdomen here, pulling up on the kneecaps a bit. 4. And 5 with the exhale. We're lowering to our fold, holding here for 5 breaths. So we're feeling grounding down through the feet. We're lifting up through the hips.
3, still have that hollowing out in the lower abdomen. 4, and keeping that length out through the top of the head towards the floor. And 5, pressing through the feet. We're going to inhale, rise up, reach up, and gaze up. And we'll exhale, stay right here. Again, inhaling, lengthening up, grounding down. 2, 3, 4, and 5. With the exhale, let the hands come back by the sides in neutral position. And we'll get ready for our next one here. This one again will be 3 breaths, except for our down dog, which is 5, and chaturanga for 1. So here we go. We'll inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale. Inhaling, exhale. One more breath in. And with the exhale, keep the spine long as we fold. Take a breath in. And out. And again, inhale. Exhale. With our next inhale, we lengthen out the spine, gazing forward. And we'll exhale, pause here. Inhaling again. Exhale. One more. Inhale. With the exhale, plant the hands, step or walk or hop the feet back, lower down, chaturanga. 1 breath. Inhaling for our up dog, opening the front of the body. 1, 2, and 3. The exhale, we pull up and back and settle into our downward facing dog for 5 breaths. 1. So I want to draw up on the kneecaps just a little bit here if the legs are straight. 2. Keep the pelvic floor lifting slightly. 3. And a little drawing in the lower abdomen. 4. And 5. With our inhale, we'll bring the feet forward, lengthen out the spine, and exhale. And again, inhale, exhale. One more, inhaling. With the exhale, keep the spine long, we fold. We'll stay here. Inhaling again, and exhale. Inhale, exhale, one more breath. And with the next inhale, press through the feet, come all the way back up, reach the arms up, gaze up, and exhale and stay here. And again, inhaling, exhale, and one more, inhale. And with the exhale, let the hands come back by the sides. Good. So now we're going to run through 3 more, just all consecutive, 1 breath per movement, holding down dog for 5 breaths. And if you want to play around with walking the feet back, or stepping the feet back, or jumping the feet back, or floating the feet back, feel free to experiment with that. And the same for coming back forward, whatever suits you. So here we go. We'll inhale, reach the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward. With our inhale, we'll lengthen out the spine, gazing forward. And exhale, we'll take the feet back and lower down, chaturanga. Inhaling for upward facing dog. And with our exhale, pulling back to downward facing dog. Again, making any adjustments you need to. So 1, and try to make those adjustments within the first breath or 2. 2, this way you can settle in to a still place. 3, 4, 5. Inhale, feet come forward, lengthening out the spine. Exhale, fold. And inhale, press through the feet, coming all the way up. And exhale, hands back by the sides. And again, inhale, reaching up, gazing up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthen out the spine. And exhale, taking the feet back and lowering down, chaturanga. Inhaling for upward facing dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Adjusting your stance if you need to. And settling in. That's 1. And we want to have that soft, steady gaze. 2. Nice, even breathing. 3. 4. And 5. With our inhale, feet come forward. We lengthen out the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way back up. Reach the arms up. Exhale, hands back by the sides. And 1 more. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, lengthen out the spine. Exhale, taking the feet back, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhaling for upward facing dog. Pulling the hips up and back to come into our down dog for 5 breaths. 1. And if this gets to be too much, just drop into child's pose here. 2. Just stay with the breath. 3. 4. And 5. With the inhale, feet come forward. We lengthen out the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming all the way back up. And exhale, hands back by the sides. Good. So we're going to make our way down to the mat to have a little cool down here. And you guessed it, we're going to get there through a sun salutation. But this time, no hold of the downward dog, just exhaling into it and coming to a seated position. So here we go, right back to where we started from. We'll inhale, reach the arms up, gaze up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, head up, long spine. Exhale, feet back, lowering down, chaturanga. Inhaling for our upward facing dog. Exhaling to our down dog. We're not going to hold here. So with our next inhale, we're going to shift the gaze forward, step the feet forward, come to sit down. You could, if you're into hopping, you could hop the feet forward and walk them forward, however you want to get them there. We're going to have the legs crossed. It can just be simple crossed legs. You could have the legs in lotus. You could have them in half lotus, just one leg in. You could, if you're working on your lotus, be in like sort of a double pigeon. Whatever is a comfortable cross-legged position for you. You're going to take the hands behind the back, either grabbing hands, wrists, forearms, elbows. If you're really feeling open and bendy today and you want to try to bind your hands to your feet here, you could. It's not necessary. We're going to lengthen with an inhale. And with the exhale, we're just going to let ourselves fold over our crossed legs here. We'll stay here for 10 breaths. Just let the head and neck relax. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. With the inhale, we'll come back upright. And with the exhale, we'll release the hands from the back. We'll just let the hands rest gently on the knees, or maybe if your knees are high up, it'll be the forearms or the elbows resting here. Thumb and index fingertip are going to come together softly. The other three fingers will join one another and point towards the floor so that the arms end up straight but not rigid. The spine will be lifting, chin dropping toward the chest, and we'll take 10 breaths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Relax the arms. We'll undo the legs from whatever crisscrossed position they might happen to be in. And we're going to lie down on our backs here. Just taking a couple minutes, relaxing. So if you want to make any shifts in your position so you can fully settle, just do so, and then work on resisting the urge to fidget here. We want to let the body get soft. Let any awareness or effort in the breath just begin to dissolve. Just find ourselves breathing at a regular pace, regular depth. We're just aiming for a bit of soft stillness as a counter to the movements we were just doing. We'll be here for just a couple minutes. If you have the time and would like to stay here longer, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'm just going to take a nice deep breath in through the nose and gently let that fall out of the body. We'll start to wiggle our fingers and toes around a little bit, moving into the hands and feet, and circling the wrists and ankles, And take an inhale and reach the arms up overhead and just stretch out from your fingertips right down through your toes. And then just soften there. You bring the knees up into the chest. Wrap the arms around, and if it feels good, you can rock from side to side. And if that does not speak to you, you can just stay still. And then we'll roll over to the side and make a little pillow with your hand or arm and just soften there for a moment. When you're ready, press up to a comfortable seated position, cross-legged or otherwise. And bring the hands together, let the thumbs rest gently against the center of the chest, and we'll just take 3 deep breaths here. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And one more time, fill the lungs and empty the lungs. We can resume a normal breath pace. Well, thank you for joining us for this exploration of the Sun Salutation this morning. Hopefully it was helpful for you. If it was, or for that matter if it wasn't, just let us know. Drop a comment below. And we'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Namaste.